lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's number one lycanthrope. Thrope. Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf, aka the Shaggy One, aka Russell Jackson, aka the Demon of Wondagore. I think that was...
That was pretty good.
He's back.
I know.
I think I should replace you on the podcast. We were talking, he agreed.
I'm sure everyone would agree.
Yeah.
Literally. Can you shut that door for me, baby doll?
Yeah.
Thank you.
She did pretty good on the intro. She ran through it a few times. It's a little...
Should we just use it?
A little dramatic.
Okay.
But
well, she just got into acting, so you have to give her
just got into acting. Acting.
Hello, welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's number one lycanthrope, Jack Russell, aka the Werewolf, aka the Shaggy One, aka Russell Jackson, aka the Demon of Wondagore, aka the werewolf that was. Is that a new one that came up this issue?
Did it come up this issue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you're adding it. Okay. I like that. Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
I collect them like garbage. Like, what was that thing in Labyrinth that just collects crap?
Yep.
I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other host, Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. You are listening to our final regular episode of the series.
Yeah, the whole series.
Weird.
It's very weird.
Yep. So we've made it very clear that we don't want to do 90s Werewolf by Night. We've already seen 90s Jack pop up a little bit. And this is we're just ending a two-parter that was straddling the fence between 1990 and 1991. And as you know, decades begin in January 1st of the first year of that decade. So
yes.
And if you didn't listen to last episode, we were really big fans of Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme number 26.
Yeah, it was a great issue. I don't know. I think these are perfect issues to end on. I know thematically it would have worked to end with the Marvel Comics Presents, with Jack riding off on the motorcycle to solve X-Files crimes. And but that would have also bummed me out because it's kind of that's a wet fart of an ending. So this is way better. I think that, going back to a story written by Roy Thomas with some great guys on art, we've got George Rousseau. So, I mean, this is a much better note to go out on. Yeah.
I don't want to have the echoing sound be Bad to the Bones opening riff.
That's what the theme song would be.
So, we were, I think, both pretty big fans of the art team and Roy's writing of that last issue. So I was excited to dive in here and see how this thing ended.
Yeah, me too. And it's great. And we got another great cover. Yeah,
another great cover. Before we dive into that, we have voicemail. That's 971-220-5865. That's 971-220-JUNK. And as always, we have a Discord server. We love to talk about comics, what we're reading, art, what we're watching, listening to, everything. So there's going to be a link to that in the show notes. So if you want to jump into the Discord server and chat with some nice comics fans, this is the place to do it. The last thing to note here is that we're going to do our finale live on YouTube on January 7th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'd love to have you join us. And we're going to be soliciting your votes on different topics for that thing. And people who submit their ballots get entered into a drawing that we'll be doing live on the show for some prizes, including grand prizes of multiple copies of the Werewolf by Night poster signed by Michael Giacchino, the director. Pretty cool grand prize.
Oh, it's a great grand prize. So pay attention to our show socials. We'll be posting, where you can send your ballots, your choices for what I think is going to be mainly top threes.
Yeah. And we'll be accepting those through our Patreon page. You don't have to be a patron to vote on there, open to the public, or Twitter or Instagram or wherever you talk to us. We'll accept those ballots that way. You're wondering, why would you guys ever stop talking about Werewolf by Night? Because we want to go back to the 70s. That's why. We're regressive. And we're becoming Bronze Age monsters. We're going to take a month off and come back as Bronze Age monsters and talk about, in our first season, the son of Satan, Damon Hellstrom. So each season on that show, we'll be talking about different stuff. And it's all going to be Bronze Age weirdness because that was our happy place.
Yeah, that's definitely our happy place. I'm really excited that we're gonna be branching out. I mean, we have done the deepest dive anyone's ever going to do on Jack Russell. I feel like, I feel like we did good work. We did good work for the character. We got to experience him in every decade, and yeah, so this is our victory lap in a way because we had a great time. We had a great time doing it. And so, yeah, this finale is just going to be a lot of fun. Just us talking about our experiences. And yeah, all things Werewolf by Night. We'll send Jack out with a nice big old party, January 7th. I'm super excited for that. And I'm really hoping that I can work out the technology to where we can maybe have some people call in if they want to call in through StreamYard. Or we're also trying to work on some surprise guests that might show up. No promises there, but could have something fun. Okay. Business out of the way. So part 2 of this 2-part story, Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, number 27. And this has a cover date of March 1991. And this cover is, much like the last one, is by the book artist. Is it Chris Marinan? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Chris Marinan with inks by Mark McKenna. So last episode, you read a letter that talked about the storyline, and the writer had said that he thought that the covers were by Mike Golden, which on Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme 26, I can kind of like, that looks more like Chris Marinan and Mark McKenna for sure. This one, not so much. This one, I don't know if it's the same art team. And this is kind of destroying my world because Grand Comics Database says that it's Chris Marinan and Mark McKenna. And it's a pretty good resource because there's at least a dozen historians that fight each other to the death over every credit. And this didn't seem to be very challenged. But I don't know, man. Maybe it is something. I don't know if it's Mike Golden, but Strange's face, the way the werewolf is drawn, it's just different. It's like someone else did the cover. So I don't know if I buy that credit. I agree with you. We haven't described the cover yet, but Doctor Strange's face and the werewolf. I mean, Doctor Strange's face looks like Chris Bacallo. Like, yeah, it does. It's not anything like inside the interiors at all. No. Interesting. So yeah, that was and this has never come up before. Yeah, we've never had a disputed. We've never disputed a credit. So I'm trying to think, what is Michael Golden most famous for? I know him because Glenn Danzig stole his horned skull for his famous logo, and still, I don't think he'll still admit it to this day. But I don't think so. No, you can just lay one over the other, and it's like, holy shit. I don't remember what comic that was either, but it's a blatant ripoff. But every time I see Michael Golden's work, I like it. I don't really know him as an artist, as his resume. Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about his resume. I mean, I don't think I've read enough stuff that he's done to be an expert on his work by any means. But so I don't know. All I knew is I looked at this and double checked and double checked. I'm like, that can't be Chris and Mark. That can't be the same art team. Like, no, this is something different. So I don't know. That's just, those are my 2 cents. I don't believe the credits are right on this. Yeah. That being said, you should check out for yourself. If you Google Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme number 27, you will see this if you click on Google and then images. So I'm going to describe it for those of you who can't do that right now, though. I gushed over last issue because I loved it so much. The werewolf in the foreground, Doctor Strange kind of rising like a supernatural being, and then being flanked by almost virtually silhouetted hunters, which is fascinating. This one is really busy. But I like it
but it's the immediate appeal to me is not there as compared to the last month's. So this one we have a green, like a puke green sky, and there's a vortex swirl of these alien spirits being sucked into it like a toilet flushing, and they're yellow. So you have green on yellow. They stretched out like the way you would stretch out if you went into a black hole, right? When gravity just kind of whatever. So in the foreground, there's a cliff, and the cliff is falling apart, and the werewolf, who looks fucking awesome, is falling off of this precipice that's crumbling, and drool's coming out of his mouth. And next to him on the cliff is a mob of local townies that are all cast in purple, which complements the green sky. And they're all piling onto Doctor Strange, who is screaming, and he's just aghast as he's reaching out for the werewolf who is falling away. And again, like that's totally Chris Bacall, like this super evocative kind of big, cartoony, thing. And the werewolf looks, man, it looks like, it's funny that you said Michael Golden again, because it's just, it does kind of, the werewolf looks like Michael Golden. A little bit. This. It's super busy, but
it is.
So when I first look at it, I'm like, yeah, too much. And then when I settle into it, my eye goes around the swirling spirits, and then it settles down on Doctor Strange and his outreached hand, and then it goes to the werewolf who is falling. So the art wise, it does the job it's supposed to do, leading me on, Family Circus arrows.
Yes,
but it's super busy.
It is busy. I had the same thought. Like instantly, I'm like, oh, there's a lot going on there. But then once I parse it a little bit, and once I look a little harder, it's a great cover. I think color is one thing that made both of these covers really work. And though colorists aren't credited most of the time for covers, this is George Russo's.
Yep.
There's no question.
Color saved this. If this was colored in any other way, I would have thought this was a busy mess.
Yep.
So as a fucking master, came in and did the green background, the purple mob as a mass, and then let the two main characters stand out in their own color palettes. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that is brilliant. Yeah, so if anyone who's listening has taken a look at this cover and agrees with us that it might not be the right art team, I want to know who you think it is.
Yeah,
or if you think it looks like Michael Golden. So yeah, definitely send us a voicemail or message us anywhere that we're at.
Yeah, 971-220-5865. Let us know. All right, let's dive into this one, because it's got the clunkiest title of 3 seasons of this show.
You think this is the worst?
I think it is. I know there were some really long ones in season 1. I remember there were some really long ones.
But those were they were very, I don't know.
Poetic, right?
Yeah, they were poetic. They were like gothic poetry, and this is okay, so we'll just jump into it. The title of this story is Possession is 9/10 of the Logarithm. So it's long, it's a pun, it's not really funny at all, and doesn't even really make sense. I don't know.
Barely even ties into the story.
It barely even ties into the story. Maybe not Roy's finest moment, but we praised him a lot on last issue and on this issue, just in how cool it was to read a more modern Roy Thomas writing. But yeah, maybe not the best choice title-wise.
I'm not looking forward to typing this out in the podcast metadata.
No. All right, let's talk about the cast of creators. We got Roy and Dan Thomas, writers, Chris Marinan, penciler, Mark McKenna, inker, Pat Brousseau, letterer, George Russo, colorist, Ralph Macchio, editor, and Tom DeFalco, editor-in-chief. So on this opening page, we get a full-page illustration of Stephen, Jack, Topaz, and Rintra, and they're being held captive by the possessors. And I did like the opening narration from one of the possessors who is looking towards us, the audience. He says, "Do you know me? Once before, I led a trans-dimensional expedition to the Earth to determine if it was ripe for conquest by our people. But our faces, lacking what you call features, are perhaps less recognizable to you than those of your own kind." And then I love that Doctor Strange is like, "Of course I do. You're the possessors. Like, I remember you. Like, of course, I'm not an idiot. Like, yeah, I remember when I fought you like twice." And so he just has to lay it out. He's like, yeah, clearly you possess those hunters who hit us from behind. Yeah, I know. And then, so what was the, oh yeah, he talks about, he's like, and who'd been chasing Jack Russell here in his werewolf form. Didn't quite understand this next thing. But he says, so you recognize racial types, if not individuals.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. And I think it's funny that Strange does the quick, math in his head. And he's like, I'm just not going to acknowledge that. And I'm going to move on to the next point. Because Strange looks at him. I want to imagine there was a pause. And then he's like, release us, villain, from this mystic stone-like substance which you have encased us with. So, he just opted out of that one.
Yeah, and I like that they essentially called him a racist. Like I said, like, I'm sure you can't tell, we all look alike to you, right? But, this guy's a werewolf, so you can tell the difference between him and a human. He's a lycanthrope.
Yeah. And I mean, Doc's he's a modern man. He can have those conversations, but he's like, maybe not right now. Maybe we have other things to talk about immediately, but we can super circle around back to that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
So I really like the way that this page started with this disembodied alien head looking right at us, the viewer, as he's saying, do you know me? It felt very Atlas, right?
Definitely. And it's very, I think there are a couple throwbacks this issue to Strange Tales 118, the first appearance of the Possessors. And yeah, it's very Atlas era or super early Marvel age, which is, Strange Tales was pretty damn early and is very, man, I don't know if you went back and read that. It is so Lee Ditko. Oh my God. Sometimes they're just the biggest versions of themselves. And that was one of them.
I like that, the leader's saying, you recognize racial types, if not individuals. And Rentra says, release us from the stone-like thing, because they're encrusted in this purple, it's essentially like cooled magma, it looks like. They're just ensconced in this thing where they're trapped. But Rentra is saying this as, there's a couple times this happens where I don't know if Roy Thomas gets how, threats work, where he says, release us from this, and I shall personally see to it that even your insectoid mother would not recognize you. Isn't the construction like free us and I will not do this? Let us go now and I will not utterly destroy you.
Yeah.
But he's saying, free us and I will fucking mess you up so much your mom won't even know who you are. That's not incentive.
Don't do what Donnie Don't does.
Yes, it happens later in the issue too, where it's like, Roy, you don't understand how these things work. It's the opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we go to the next page, and it's just essentially a flashback, so we can just kind of light over this. Topaz is saying, do you really know who these mouthless monstrosities are? And he's like, yeah. So when I just came back from the East and studying under the Elder One, blah, blah, and he explains he went to the German, the Alps or something like that, and they took over some village, and the guy, the leader of them, covered himself in this green material similar to the one that they're encrusted in, and he used the Eye of Agamotto to melt through it and banish them back to their dimension. They're interdimensional interlopers and conquistadors.
Yeah, it's basically just kind of a summary of Strange Tales 118, and
it's serviceable art. Nothing really super outstanding. I kind of like that Bavarian little village there in the base of the Alps, and them kind of this red ray as they're kind of marching forward. They have these kind of cool looking outfits that are basically a white outfit with red gauntlets and boots and underwear, like Superman underwear, and then these half shirts with big shoulder pads.
I love the half shirts.
But I like their faces. They look like catfish.
Yeah, their faces. Yeah, I think that is the best comparison you can make. Is that they look like catfish. They have those little feelers. coming out on the side of their mouths. So it's this page is okay, but we can move on.
Yeah,
because the next page is pretty cool. I really like. I don't know. Okay. So this is a strange panel layout. Definitely, there's a lot going on. There's almost too much going on construction wise,
but just enough to where I like it.
It went right up to the line for me because on the left we have the possessor's leader is very big, kind of looking out. Jack on the upper right is looking towards him, but then it's also flashing back to different points because this is our villain gets to kind of monologue about his origin a bit. And so he's talking about all this where I don't know, it's a strange layout, but I did really like it. I'm going to read a little bit of his monologue here.
It's worth it.
Yeah, because Jack is talking about, who did the cattle mutilations and he says, it is scarcely tactful or wise to remind me of my early humiliation, Strange. It is not only subhuman cattle that may be ritually slaughtered upon this cavern's altar. He says, and that's when Jack is like, well, who did the cattle mutilation? What good could such butchery do you? And he says, well, more than you could possibly imagine, werewolf. And so he talks about how Dr. Strange had sealed the gateway behind them so they could never return to Earth. And then, here's, I guess, the tie-in to the title. He says, we were in despair for our technology, our command of logarithm and anti-logarithm had never failed us before.
That feels like it's a winky nod towards like life and or wherever the fuck Sinestro's from or whatever, like that kind of a negative zone thing that's in like the Guardians.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know, or the the anti-life equation kind of thing from DC, but I don't know. It's weird and clunky. But anyhow, this guy's saying, I became Lord Leader and determined to make our second invasion of your sphere succeed where the first had failed. And then that's when he says, I personally led a chosen handful of our people to this place you call Colorado. Which I imagine that's how he said it. He was real shitty about it. And he's like, for the express purpose of what your newspapers have termed cattle mutilations, because once here we possess the bodies of human hunters. We know all about that. But yeah, he's basically saying that he kind of took over as like a fascist leader of the possessors and now is back to start a new invasion.
It reminded me a lot of like Quard in the antimatter universe, like that in the Green Lantern, like early Green Lantern stuff.
Oh yeah. No, totally.
Yeah, but this layout, man, like you're saying, it must be seen to be believed. I mean, the left-hand column is this extreme close-up of him glowering over as he's telling the story where he takes up the entire left side of the page. And then you have Jack looking at him wrapped in these cloak of levitation. And then there's this crazy panel that's really cool where he's holding his head and he's kind of like his knees are tucked up and he's kind of levitating and it just lays over the other panels of the flashback. It's just very interesting.
It's really strange. I mean, it works. I mean, it goes right, like I said, it goes right up to the line of not working. But I think it's really, really cool. It's a cool page.
Yes, and this is the page where he said, more than you could possibly imagine, werewolf that was.
Werewolf that was. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's very literal. So on the next page, he's continuing on, and Jack says, you haven't explained why you killed the cattle, though. And Dr. Strange says, well, that was clearly a ritual carving. It's the key to, whatever their whole plan is. And the alien leader explains, yes, like once our science failed us because you locked off our portal to this dimension, we had to rely on magic. They had to create a stable gateway into this world to take the Earth over. But first they had to come in and do some sacrifices to somehow bolster up this portal. It just kind of goes on and on here, but it's not super that important. It's just saying that blood is the key to opening this gateway. But on the right-hand side of the bottom half of this page, there's a Jack portrait and a Topaz portrait in the very golden age, kind of like outsider art, kind of like they just look strange to me.
Yeah, not quite Fletcher Hanks, but definitely something weird.
Yeah. So Jack's just kind of saying, I came here looking for other werewolves, thinking I might have, created these things that are my problem. But yeah, it's a weird page. This issue has some interesting page layouts that I don't know. I definitely like the first one more as an entire work. There's some really cool stuff in this though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like this one feels a bit rushed compared to issue 26.
Definitely.
So, all right, next page, the stone around our heroes kind of dissolves into mist, and the possessors immediately take possession of Doc, Jack, and Rintra. But Topaz cannot be possessed. And like the guy, the possessor trying to possess her says, "My lord, I cannot enter the silver-haired female. Something deep within is hurling me out." And Topaz is great. She's like, "If you'd done your homework, you'd know I'm already possessed." And I love her. I love her body language.
Back, like in this power
throws her
move.
arm back. Yeah, I know. I was just like, oh, that's so. But I do imagine her just kind of expelling him, just being like, no. And she says, "I'm already possessed by a demon called Ulikumis." She says, that's the little problem Doctor Strange was helping me sort out before you came along. It's like, you don't got to tell him all that, Topaz. but she's mad, so I get her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they grab her, and then the possessed Doctor Strange says, "And I know enough to realize that the empath Topaz has no powers that can threaten us." It's kind of a dick thing to say. I mean, Topaz isn't Jean Grey, but, she spirits and the mind and, psychic plane and all that stuff. She's more than proven herself in the Doctor Strange books.
Yeah.
Like,
empathy
I didn't like
is a baseline for her power set. It's not the limitations.
No. And so, yeah, I thought this was kind of, I don't know. I didn't like, and I mean, this is on Roy. I don't think Roy utilized Topaz as well as he could have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the possessor who invaded Jack, once he goes in, he says, "It seems that man and beast within have been fully integrated into one being." They're really hammering that home every issue since MCP, which I like. Says, "Making it far easier to possess him than otherwise. A moment's concentration, and the werewolf walks again at our command." So yeah, I did like that, and that's kind of that's transition werewolf at the bottom there. It's like it's kind of howling, kind of furry. Like, I don't know.
And you couldn't call this werewolf at our command or something? Like,
yeah,
possession is 9/10 of a logarithm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know,
Roy. So for me, I thought it was weird when the possessor tries to jump into Topaz's body and they refer to her as a silver-haired female.
I know.
And I was like, okay, so is Roy wrong or is she platinum blonde? Like, that's what that means, right? Like, your hair's so blonde, it's almost white.
Yes.
So did George not get the note, or is it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. That's not, yeah, it's a little yellowy blonde. Which isn't exactly what Topaz is.
Like, when we first saw her in 12 or 13 or whatever, like, she was platinum blonde, right? She was almost
platinum
white.
blonde. Yeah, like Jean Harlow.
Yeah. Jean Harlow. God bless her. Yeah, so cool. I kind of like that werewolf. Just that he's yapping and being an evil alien. So just cards on the table here. I'm not a huge fan of the trope of body switching in serialized drama, like your Star Treks or whatever. Like,
I know.
I know that like the actors love it because they get to like, I'm not Fox Mulder, I'm this schmuck who's being Fox Mulder. Like,
yeah, I know.
I get it, but it doesn't always the joy doesn't translate to me as a viewer so much.
No, me neither.
So on the next page, the hunters who were previously possessed by these guys start to wake up like, what's going on here? And so they're waking up and they're like, we don't need these human shells anymore. Dispatch of them. And he sends the werewolf off. And the werewolf's like, I can feel the remnants of the man-wolf's unique personality resisting your fatal command. He's kind of clenching his fist. He's like, his will is clearly stronger than most. No doubt because it is the combined will of two beings rather than one. Still, you are a possessor, sir. I order you, take full control of the lycanthrope and slay, says Dr. Strange, not Dr. Strange. And he says, as you wish, Lord Leader. And we get this panel at the bottom that is a shadow cast on the cave wall of Jack's form eviscerating this hunter. And in the foreground, we just see his claw raking towards us. And it says, ah! And there's blood spurting out. And, Topaz is upset. She's like, he killed him. You've turned Jack Russell into a murderer. And the Doctor Strange alien possessor says, well, it's just merely one of our, many inferior life forms. Don't you on this planet treat your inferior life forms much the same? Which, well, is Roy a vegetarian or something? So they leave the cave. And again, Rentra, Doctor Strange, and Jack are all aliens at this point. And Doctor Strange says, now it is time to gather the final sacrifices. So they are trying to open a gateway for a full-on planetary invasion.
Yeah, I did like that panel. It was interesting. Like I kind of had to look at it a bunch of times, being like, okay, is that how it would be? Is that, I don't know. Did something about the mechanics of the shadow and the actual thing? I don't know. I don't know if it exactly translates if you try to mechanic it out, because wouldn't it be the other way around?
The opposite way?
Yeah, they would be the opposite way,
is
right?
Backwards.
Yeah. But that's okay. I mean, I know it fits and it's cool and it looks cool, but it did make me stop. So maybe it's not so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, next page, we're back at the cave, and a tied up Topaz is kind of trying to reason with her captor, but can't get any answers out of him. And I'm going to read the important part of her rant, which is about Jack. So she's yelling at this possessor guard. And she says, I've known Jack longer than anybody. I've seen him go through horror, agonizing whether he might have hurt someone during his 3 nights a month as a werewolf. And now, just when he's finally gained control of his natures, you turn him into a slasher. What kind of unfeeling race are you possessors anyways? And then she kind of is taken aback and is just like, well, evidently at least the kind that can cry? And so her like prison guard is like just shedding this one green tear. So I didn't know what was going on at this point. And it still doesn't, I mean, I guess it makes sense when you realize that it's strange, but I don't know.
So in hindsight, are you saying that's Doctor Strange starting to exert control over this guy's mind? As we find out later, he fully takes the body over.
Yeah, he fully takes the body over. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how Roy justified it. But still, I don't know. It was weird. It was almost just like Roy's like, I just want an alien to cry.
Yeah, I almost like the idea better of just like this is 1 foot soldier who's just kind of like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, it is. Like she actually got through to him. Yeah. And he's like, no, you're right. We're monsters. Yeah. Oh, so funny. And then we get a really cool 3-panel sequence at the bottom of the page. So, yeah, it's like 3 panels. It kind of shows the outside of a snowy farmhouse in the first one. There's like a nice family eating dinner in there. And the father goes to answer a knock at the door, and guess what? It's a werewolf. And it's and I did like that. It's a very simple like action figure depiction of the werewolf, but I kind of liked it with light up eyes. Like I'd get that guy.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You pull the trigger on his back, his eyes light up, and he goes. Rrr.
Oh, I'd love it.
I really like that bottom sequence where it looks like playing cards, like.
Yeah, or like Polaroids or something.
Yeah,
like,
they're stacked out and kind of like just twisting, rotating towards it as it comes towards us. But I love that it's a snow-covered cabin, and it's purple and blues. The snow is blue and the sky's purple and whatever. And then you see inside as they're answering the door, everything's orange with yellow highlights. So it's like, oh wow, they're strongly contrasting the inside and outside, like how cozy and warm it is.
And again, that's George, like all this weird color shit, you know that at this point, no one's going to question him and everyone's going to let him do whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, number one, because he's a legend, but also because he's never wrong.
Yeah. And so this final panel, when the dad opens the door and the werewolf is growling at him, he is completely crested in orange light all around him, highlighted. So it's like integrating the two worlds, right? His background is purple and blue, but he's now entering their world. So now he has orange on him. Like just George, man.
Yeah, I know. Did a kick-ass job. Well, on everything but Topaz hair.
Yep.
Everything is perfect except for that.
So the next page, surprise, possessed Rentra, werewolf, and Doctor Strange, and some villagers come in. Doctor Strange has a shotgun that he's firing as he walks in. So this family, like the werewolf is punching and breaking the table in half, like some feat of strength. And the kids fleeing and they're saying, Mama, don't hurt us, please. And they're fleeing and Doctor Strange says, I admit it. This is the part of our mission I most enjoy. So if you didn't know, he's an asshole. And then one possessor leaves a hunter's body and jumps into the kid. It says, why should we wish to harm you, human child, when we could possess you on our merest whim? So there's shots coming out of this cabin. The family's fleeing, and they're shooting at us, Wayne. We got to get help from town. And Dr. Strange says, did you hear that? They plan to bring back other humans to try to drive us from this place, which, of course, is precisely what we want them to do. Yeah. And Rintrah says 5 humans was not enough to complete our ritual, and the werewolf growls, but the far greater number to shortly arrive will prove more than ample, Lord Leader?
Oh, man. Yeah.
So really, it's a little silly.
Funny. It's pretty silly. This is definitely the silliest, even though the silliest thing on this page is what I love the most, which is, Strange just coming to a house and firing a shotgun at the ceiling. Like, so
I love this
funny.
part.
Yeah. I just thought, I don't know. Strange with a shotgun is some funny shit.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So next page. We're back at the cave again with Topaz and her crying guard. And she's kind of, at first it looks like he's menacing her, and she's just like, you keep away from me. Crocodile tears or no, you're still dimensional scum as far as I'm. Yeah. And then she says, you're shaking all over. What's wrong with you? And the guard kind of puts his hand to his head and is like, Topaz, I can't. And he drops the gun. That's when Topaz is just like, Steven, is that you in there? So she's figured it out, and we figured it out too. And I would have liked it better if it was a guy that just was really sensitive. It was just like, I don't want to do this possessing no more. So, but no, it is Steven though, so that's good. And then at the bottom again, we get like a cool little like triptych of panels that is on the inside of the farmhouse again. Or no, it's not the inside of the farmhouse. This is the farmer's gone to a bar. It's like, gas playing pool and stuff. And he's like, hurry, everybody, need help up on the mountain. Wolves walking on their hind legs. And then I think his wife or the daughter is running through town being like, devils with horns and everything. We got to stop them before they come down here. And then, we see possessed Strange up on the hill, looking down at all this and saying, they will be here very soon, my fellow possessors. So this is goofy. We're entering goofy territory now. Yeah.
My first question on this page was, so wait, where do the minds of the possessed people go when they're like, was Strange's disembodied mind just floating around and he found a body? Or is that just because he is a master sorcerer who managed to collect himself?
That's what I think it is. So I think that, I think it's a body switch thing. So I would think that like the sleeping minds of Jack and Rintrah are in the possessor bodies, right? I mean, I thought that's how it went.
Yeah, I would think so. Okay. And so this is just saying Dr. Strange had the power to take over this mind.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was just picturing like disembodied mind just kind of floating around of like villagers like, shit, man, I got to go to Pepe Cat and work Monday. This is awful.
Yeah.
So, the possessed Dr. Strange is very excited as these villagers are carrying flashlights, shotguns, riding their trucks, charging towards the mountainside where this cave is. And he's like, bring it on. This is exactly what I want. The final pieces in the cosmic gateway between this foredoomed world and our own. So he's pontificating to Rintrah and the werewolf and the other hunters that are possessed as they're just carrying live cattle over their shoulders like they're, I don't know, sleeping bag or something like that, because they need some more blood, but they need some human blood as well. And he's pointing the ground saying, this is the location where we ourselves materialized weeks ago. It is here and nowhere else that the ultimate ritual of blood must be performed at the precise moment that the portal to our world be opened beyond the power of any to close. So it's all just a, thing, but I was like, God, I'm hoping Jacob is also tripping out and like, isn't this kind of like Mr. C's mission in Twin Peaks: The Return?
Yes,
like,
it is.
There's a time, there's a space, and you have to have these things here in these conditions in order to open this doorway to whatever you want to have happen.
Oh no, that absolutely came to the front of my mind because I'm never far away from Twin Peaks: The Return, as I know you aren't either.
Yeah. So this last panel is nice where It's just, I mean, it's not great art, but I like the perspective looking up at Strange as he's clenching his fist, wearing the Eye of Agamotto and stuff like that, just, ranting and raving as a supervillain saying, I want to take over the world. Yeah. So obviously our master of the mystic arts, who has turned on us as a big threat.
Yeah, no, he looks like he's talking about a race of atomic supermen. Yeah.
The world.
Yeah. My favorite panel on this page is obviously the first one at the top. It looks very modern. Like Dude. It looks like something that could be out of like The Walking Dead or something, or like some other just kind of, I don't know. That panel especially is very modern looking to me.
Easily my favorite of this page.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah, the other ones are kind of goofy.
Like the guy in the foreground holding the rifle up over his head, just as
with the
silhouette.
Snow coming.
Yes, and the ink splatter snow.
That's really, really good.
Really good.
Yeah. So, okay. Next page. So yeah, we're back at the, so I do, we've been switching on and off. Like you've been getting all the above ground outside cave activity. And so every other page they are switching. Yeah. Very literally between these two stories. And so yeah, Stephen finally takes control over his possessor shell and frees Topaz by saying, the spell, he says, by the gray specter of the Vishanti, I summon all the mystic forces of the shadow worlds. I call on the hosts of darkness. Strike at the command of your master. And then so he breaks Topaz free, and she's like, oh, you did it. You shattered that. She's like, but that spell, it seems so unlike your usual ones somehow. That business about shadow worlds and hosts of darkness. And I like that his kind of snark, winky reply is an early primitive incantation of mine, Topaz. So, of course, if you go back, that is exactly the spell that he used in Strange Tales 118, written by Stan Lee. And so I think this is a little nudge slam on Stan, which I liked. It was in good fun. It's not malicious, but yeah, it's a little poke to Stan, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I assumed it was more of like just a nudge wink, kind of like we've evolved the way Strange spins his spells over the years, so it's kind of funny to go back to the earliest ones and just kind of say, yeah, these were crude back then. I was a new magician.
I loved it though. I thought that was
rad.
Was a great reference and just such a great way to handle it. So yeah, I fucking loved that. And then at the bottom of the page we see. Now we're going to call him Alien Doc instead of Doc Possessor. So this is Alien Doc, and he gets together with Topaz, and they fly towards the battle of what's going down.
And I'm a sucker for this type of stuff where he's taking over another body, but he's wearing the mantle of his personality, so he just looks wrong, but he looks so fucking awesome. Badass at the same time.
He looks like such a badass in that last panel flying off.
Yeah, and he's playing, you get this cool like darting suggestion of darting flight, like it's just going like shooting sideways and up into the sky, this aura of green, like it's just so cool. So we cut back to the evil Strange. And he's like, the moment is at hand. Let the ritual of blood begin. As he's raising his hands above his head, like very monarch. And the werewolf just starts eviscerating these cattle. He says, let the talons of the werewolf tear at the throat of the sacrificial beast. And then Rintra's doing the same thing, which he'd be horrified by because it's his kin. And let the fists of the man-bull crush the skulls and skeletons of those who are its four-footed brethren. And so then the villagers arrive. And they're saying, oh, but there they are. They must be the ones who are killing our cattle, too. And all of the possessed townsfolk that are with Dr. Strange say, or the Lord Leader says, up psychic shields. And these weird green, spiky, stony exteriors pop up. It's like the shields in Lynch's Dune.
It is.
The bullets are bouncing off them. It's like when their weapons fail, they'll be forced to attack us at close quarters, and that will be the death of them. And this bottom panel is rad as they're all covered in these rocky, weird, pointy, spiky exteriors, highlighted in yellow, mostly black and shadow, marching down towards this outcropping of rock to kill all these fucking townies. Lord in heaven, these things are even worse than Wayne said.
Oh man, this is a hilarious page in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, you're totally right. I looked at those weird ass shields going up. I'm just like, what does he say? Mood is for love. And what was that? Mood is for cattle and love play.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's a great page.
Gurney.
I mean, yeah, really, really funny shit.
It's very Gurney Alec.
It is. So, yeah, on the next page, so we actually get a demonstration, basically, of why they're doing all this bloodletting and sacrifice. And we see the final reason for this blood sacrifice is basically just a giant, dimensional door that's going to open up containing multitudes. And, so we get, Possessed Strange loves to monologue. He's been monologuing the entire issue. And so, he's saying, so he sees this thing. He's like, the great cube or dimensional pathway begins to manifest itself, sailing upon an ocean of blood.
Christopher Cross.
Yeah, definitely. Sailing. So within, I see the foremost of the vast multitude, which will soon step forth to inherit this earth. Few deaths more, human deaths. And then suddenly we hear off panel, you're wrong on that one count, Lord Leader. Oh, no, sorry. That was at first, before it goes that, the Lord Leader in the strange body. So the eye of Agamotto pops out of the fucking amulet.
I love that.
And it's just hovering around like a weird mad ball. And then it turns around and shoots him with this eye beam, which is so great. And you hear off panel, you're wrong on one count, Lord Leader. And Leader says, it bathes me suddenly, blinds me with the glare of 1,000 suns. And then, Alien Strange makes a pretty badass entrance and says, the Eye of Agamotto didn't come out of its own accord. I called it out. And then, he goes and attacks him, saying, you possessors are so good at stealing bodies, you've forgotten it's the mind that really counts in the end. And then he says a real fancy ass spell and, totally exorcises the possessor out of his old body.
This page had a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Again, that bottom middle panel when it's fully Strange and the cloak of levitation and all this shit, and he's doing the hand gestures and everything, but he's not human is so cool. I'm such a sucker for that.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
And the Eye of Agamotto popping out of its brooch, and just staring at the fake Doctor Strange and just bathing him in this green ray of light while he's all surrounded by black. So cool. It
was really cool. There's a lot of cool things about this page. It's just a lot.
Yeah, it's just a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's too much.
Can I mention something I forgot to mention on the last page?
Okay.
As the townies are approaching and saying, those things are killing our cattle too, Sheriff. The sheriff says, well, the next thing they steal is going to be their own tombstones. That's the other joke I was telling you where it's I don't think Roy gets how jokes work. Because
they're going to steal their tombstones.
Their own tombstone. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway. Strange has cast the spell onto his mortal form. He finally gets his spirit. We see his astral form jumping back into his body. He's like, this is more like it. Magic time! As he's just shooting spells out of his hands. I love that panel.
Magic time? Oh, that was great.
So he casts a spell that essentially creates this vortex whirlwind that sucks all the possessors out of their human forms or otherwise forms, terrestrial forms, and is sucking them into this vortex that is back into their own land. And it says, in their mad haste to escape, they're abandoning the human bodies they've taken over. So we see the werewolf in the foreground, kind of spasming as is Rentra and everybody else. And it's just like a worm of a tunnel going back towards this portal. Cool stuff, man. It's very busy, but very cool.
Yeah, I feel like we're saying that about most of the pages to where I just don't feel like the panel layout was as busy last issue. I feel like last issue was much more planned and measured, and this feels kind of, it feels weird. I mean, it still works, and there's still a ton of cool shit on all of these pages, but yeah, it's a weird counterintuitive way they put it all together.
Yeah, and I know this is a frenzied climax, so a lot's happening, but it feels like a lot's happening art-wise, maybe not in the most clear way.
Yeah.
But those first two panels of this page, when Doctor Strange's spirit or mind is going back into his body, and his body just has the white streaks in his hair and his eyes white, but the rest of his head is black.
Yeah.
Bad ass.
Yeah, no, it's totally badass.
And the next panel where he's screaming magic time as he's shooting spells out immediately once he's back in his corporeal form. I think Ditko would approve of that, actually.
Yeah, he would. He totally would.
That's all I want to say. And I do like the werewolf in the foreground, like spasming as he's giving up the possessor spirit.
Yeah, no, there's cool shit. So next page, Jack and Rintra, they're back with Jack saying, Steven's like, "Oh, you guys okay?" And Jack says, "Yes, but I feel so unclean. Those aliens turned me into a murderer." Rintra says, "That is no more, Jack Russell, than what those armed humans mean to become with ourselves as the victims." Little clunky, but yeah. So the hunters, non-possessed hunters, just normal asshole humans, have arrived with their clubs and shotguns. A lot of clubs,
baseball bats.
Yeah, a lot of baseball bats, and they're saying, look. There's just two of them left over on that ledge, but they don't even seem human. Says, "What's that matter? They killed our cattle, didn't they? And tried to kill us." Yeah, they start advancing on poor Jack and Rintra, and Jack's like, "Stop, you brainless!" But Rintra's smart, and he, does a little magic, transforms himself into, I don't know, Joe Buck from Midnight Cowboy. That's what I saw there. But so he's smart, changes his form, but Jack's not, I guess. And he just gets shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, I like how Rentra's kind of like, just take a human aspect and blend in. It's like you guys are on the edge of a cliff with a bunch of townies approaching you violently. But yeah, he does turn himself into a Carl.
Yeah.
The cowboy hat. He's just, again, we mentioned this last issue, like there's lots of Carls here.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Jack doesn't. I'm not sure why.
Well, because he has to get shot into the ravine, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm like, first of all, he'd be naked.
Yeah.
So he probably couldn't blend in so much.
That's true.
And I think that a revelation that we're going to have him experience him receiving is dawning on him now slowly, as the way I parsed it.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
So, he got shot by one guy, and he yells out, and the next page, he says, "Silver bullet from one of the possessor's guns. Got to get away." And he runs up to this huge ravine, this huge cliff. And they're saying, "We got the thing cornered, boys. It won't fight, even when it's at bay." Yeah, rednecks say at bay. Then it's done for. And then at the bottom of the page here, we have this nice sequence where we have that vortex. Basically, Strange's spell seems to get its own momentum and seems to be speeding up as it's sucking things up kind of quickly. So he says, "Stephen, look, the Lord Leader." And the Lord Leader is approaching the head of the vortex, thinking he can jump in and get back to his world. He's making a leap into the vortex, trying to get back to his own world. And Strange says, "Must stop him. The forces I unleash are too powerful. He'll be torn." And we see him jumping headfirst into it. And then it's like a fucking sparrow hitting a jet engine. Just apart as he pulls Topaz away from seeing it. And it's just this bright explosion. Like it's kind of a body shape explosion, but
kind of. No, he's basically disintegrated. Yeah, I really, weirdly enough, though, my favorite, I really like that first panel of the werewolf. It's so fucking good. Like, that was the thing that my eye kept going back to on this page.
Yeah, me too. That and the last panel, I really was drawn to.
Yeah, no, and this is a strong page, and I think the layout actually works pretty well on that one, too.
Agreed.
So, next page, we see that Jack is then, the town is like, "Blast him!" Jack is shot multiple times and falls off the cliff. But then there's some kind of light that blinds the hunters. They're like a flare going off. Can't see. Hold it. It's fading already. And then, they see Jack basically fall down this off this cliff, down this ravine. And one of the hunters said, "It's 1,000-foot drop to the bottom. That thing won't be causing any more trouble, whatever it was." And so, Jack's just fallen 1,000 feet, which is, not great for him. And Topaz immediately is up above seeing all this and says, "Stephen, they killed him. I killed him. If I hadn't gotten myself possessed by a demon so that I needed a werewolf's fur for a spell of exorcism." But then Rintra says, "Do not overly concern yourself, Miss Topaz." And then they all land in the snow. And as they land, like, Topaz already has her hand pointed out. And she's like, "How can you say that? And you, Stephen, what kind of apprentice have you saddled yourself with who doesn't even care about..." And Stephen's like, "You misunderstood Rintra, Topaz. His senses of smell and hearing told him..."
So we kind of got the cover here. I mean, it's not literal, but it's...
Almost.
So yeah, Strange continues on the next page that your old friend isn't dead. And then we see he looks like naked Adam Warlock, but it's naked Jack Russell, all golden. He appears, bing, Jack. Then that blinding light. Strange says, "My doing." While I whisked him away, leaving a werewolf image to die in his place. And Jack says, "Sorry, I didn't talk up sooner, Topaz, but I lost a lot of blood." And then Rintra casts a spell and gives him a leather jacket. Thank God. I'm sure he was like getting, DTs.
"Where's my leather duster?"
Yeah. And Rintra says, "Already, however, your vitality has cured your wound." So again, we're consistently saying that integrated Jack heals very quickly. "A simple weaving spell will render you good as new." And Jack says, "It'll take more than clothes to do that." And Strange approaches Jack with this. This is kind of the heaviest part of the issue. He's like, "I know you retain the memory of your werewolf body being used to commit murder, Jack. Perhaps a spell of selective forgetfulness." And I was like, wow, you actually asked somebody for their permission to wipe their minds? Because that's
not him. That's not his deal.
And then Topaz says, "This way is better, Stephen." And she puts her hands on Jack's head and says, "As an empath, I can take away much of the hurt." So, she's saying, don't just erase his fucking mind like Men in Black. Like, let me just take the sting away from it. And Jack says, "I want to remember. I must remember so I can stop anyone from ever taking me over again." So I like this. This is fucking grown up Jack now. He's like,
it's grown up Jack.
I want the pain, but I can't have it be crippling. But I want to remember that this happened to me and I have to stop it. And then there's this cool little moment, this little thing, and then we get the fucking TV show horseshit. "Well, I got to get going. My cycle's hidden nearby, and there are others who need my help somewhere." Down.
Yeah, and I love Topaz. Like, "If you ever need me, Jack, you know how to reach me."
Yeah,
we're
with
like,
my mind,
he doesn't. Yeah, he's an idiot. Yeah, oh, I know. That was that panel, that middle panel, just made me be like, "What the shit, man?"
Yeah. And Strange is like, also, "And me as well." And so they start floating off, Rintra, Topaz, and Strange. "Now we too must be on our way." And he's like, Rintra says, "Oh, Miss Topaz, you didn't get the werewolf fur." And she's like, "Oh no, I fucking pulled that off of him the first time I talked to him as a werewolf." And she shows her gloved hand. Sure enough, she yanked a bunch of his fur out. And then flying off, and Strange is saying, "Look, my brother is a vampire, as we mentioned before. I would get one of his talents easy from his bat form. And so I think next, since he's out of town, let's go for the Demon Flame. And I think Ghost Rider is a good candidate for that." And so that's what they're going for.
We get heavenly Ghost Rider looking on at them.
He does look heavenly, doesn't he? It's like his confirmation.
It is. Oh, man. So they're just on like this supernatural scavenger hunt.
I liked this enough to read the rest of this story.
Oh, did you read the next two chapters? Oh,
I even jumped to the Ghost Rider issue. Because actually goes to Ghost Rider next, and then to Strange 28.
Okay, see?
This
comic from 1991, it got to you a little bit.
It did.
Made you read multiple 90s comics.
This scavenger hunt shit, man. I mean, that's hard to say no to.
It is.
Are you kidding me? Super occult scavenger hunt?
Vampire talon, werewolf fur.
Yeah. And
Demon Flame.
so last issue, we did the Book of Vishanti, Legacy of the Wolf Part 1, and I kind of didn't read the whole thing, and Jacob kind of filled me in on it, and it was just kind of a shitty, like, space aliens came in and did some genetic shit, and there was the Gene Lords of Arcturus, and they basically created werewolves by messing with our genes and experimenting. Just sciencey 70s hokey horseshit.
Yeah,
But-
I hated it.
Yeah, you hated it, and so you said don't bother reading it. So I didn't. But this next story here, part 2, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it starts off kind of the same way, talking about the Gene Lords of Arcturus, and just kind of doing a recap a little bit of part 1 of Legacy of the Wolf. We get a really bizarre, like, I don't know, that looks more of like instead of a werewolf, like that's a cat person. Yeah. So that's
right.
Yeah, that's the cat person, which really also looks really, really strange. And so that's they're tying that into Tigra and the cat people, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which is cool, which I liked. And then they also say that the Gene Lords turn toward the creation of superhumans, early mutations, such as the unknown warlock who once dared impersonate the mage Merlin. I'm assuming these are all like deep cuts.
Yeah. But do you know who Sphinx is?
Yeah, well, Sphinx was like an early X-Men villain, I thought.
That's
like
what I thought.
Yeah, because that comes in the Don Rico. No, not I can't remember exactly who was writing it at that point or drawing it, but right before Roy and Neil Adams took over,
Okay.
I think was the Sphinx storyline.
Okay. There were some letters letting Roy. Did Roy write it? No. Who wrote these?
Yeah,
This is
Roy
Thomas-
and
Roy and Lefissier.
and Lefissier.
Letting them know that they made an error here and that
Oh,
Sphinx is a mutant, not a whatever. So,
Well, that's the whole thing, because he's kind of saying like, oh, they created everything. They created mutants and superhumans, and it's just like fucking stupid, man.
yeah, people weren't happy about this.
No, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy either. So, but it gets better.
Yes, it does. Definitely.
Yeah, it goes on. Yeah, well, why don't you talk about this one?
So yeah, I didn't know who Damon was. This redheaded guy. I mean, you might need to guide me through some of this. Like, it looks like this is from maybe Fear.
Yeah, I think this stuff is from Fear.
So we see Morbius, and there's a girl vampire.
Tara.
Tara. And she's like that, little girl in Interview with the Vampire. She's a girl, but she's not a girl in her mind.
Yes.
I do like that panel though on the second page, the last one of the werewolf clenching his fist in front of the full moon and roaring or howling.
Yeah.
Cliff. That's rad.
Oh, it's really rad. And yeah, that kind of brings us back to werewolves. So
yeah, the werewolves lived on, right? So
yeah,
it's like we
werewolves
jump
lived
forward.
on, and now we actually jump to really cool shit, which we do want to go through. So there's a great panel. The opening narration on this page is: in the year 1795, Baron Grigory Rusov of Transylvania tried to slay Count Dracula to avenge his wife slain by the Lord of the Vampires. And yeah, it's great.
I love that panel.
Great panel of Gregory, hammering a wooden stake into Dracula's heart. And it says, but in doing so, the Baron himself was bitten by a female werewolf, which the master of the undead had kept prisoner in his dungeons. So this is stuff that we've read before. We know where this stuff comes from.
Nice of them to actually stick to it. Like they've gone fast and
Finally.
loose. Yeah, this is actually like that. No, that literally happened.
Yeah. So no, I really, really liked that. That says, years later, in the aftermath of the Holocaust men called the Second World War, the Baron's similarly named descendant obtained by force the notorious spellbook known as the Darkhold, or Book of Sins, from the wizard named Taboo.
This cleared up something for me because we've kind of gone back and forth at each other. Like the Baron is Jack's dad and Grigori is his ancestor, but this
we were
reveals
both
they
right.
both have the same name. They're
So I
both
think-
Baron Grigori Rusov.
I think both of us have thought we've mixed that up, but
Yes.
we were right all along. They're
We've
both
corrected
named
each other
Gregory.
over
We
the last
have.
2 years, and we were both right.
So I did like that. That was validating.
And I love seeing, I forgot the name of Taboo's son, but I love seeing that just in the background, he's carrying his son over his shoulder as the Baron's like reading, like the villagers are coming in with a fucking battering ram, and the Baron's just frantically reading a scroll as he's in the background, just like fucking carpetbagger, like, I just gotta get my son and get out of here.
Yeah. Oh man, it's
Hilarious.
funny. But then we get a fucking rad panel on the bottom.
God.
So the narration says, reading it by the light of the full moon, Baron Grigory Rusov stirred within himself the sleeping lupine gene, which his ancestor had contracted from the female werewolf, and became himself one of that loathsome breed. And we get this fucking panel of, Grigory turning into a werewolf. It's horrifying. And he's still reading the scroll with the moon in the background. He's all colored in reds and blacks. And it is just, it is so cool.
Yeah, he looks like Morbius burping, farting, and pissing at the same time. Whatever that would look like.
Yeah, and then we get a sad panel. The last one says, Grigory Rusov now lived for one thing only. And we see his family leaving.
So the only thing I'm not quite clear on in this, like this is like confirming a bunch of stuff we've known, but I thought that... I thought Elfric told Jack that your family was cursed before your ancestor even read the spells that were bound in the Darkhold, that there was a latent gene in you that was this cursed lycanthropy.
Well, I mean, that's what they're trying to do here with the Gene Lords of Arcturus. So they're trying to make that part of Jack's deal, right?
Well, yeah, but they're also saying... lupine gene, which his sleeping lupine gene, which his ancestor had contracted from the female werewolf. So that's saying his great grandfather got it in the 19th century, but we were told, no, this has been like fucking the dawn of your bloodline. This has been there dormant.
Yeah.
We were told that.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the only thing I was kind of like,
Yeah, I know. It doesn't quite fit with it. But
there's some retconning.
There's some retconning. And God, I mean, the next page though, I mean, we see why Grigory kicked his family out, because he's trying to rid himself of the werewolf curse. It says, in his frenzied attempts to fathom the mysteries of the Darkhold, he mistakenly summoned up the elder god Chthon. And that's a cool fucking panel.
That's a fucking brilliant panel, but it's a retcon.
It is definitely a retcon. He
died by the villagers' hands when he was freed during a werewolf spell during lightning storm.
Yep, that hit the tower. So yeah. I mean, there's a lot of retconning.
But you know what's cool though? Think about like your family histories that are oral. Like, can't you imagine? Like, my grandma always told me that my great uncle died in World War II, blah blah, jumping on a grenade. Like, oh fuck no, he died of syphilis. 3 years after World War II was over. He was a scumbag.
Yep, that is exactly what family oral tradition is.
Yep.
Anytime you try to research even a tiny bit, it all falls apart. So I think we can kind of explain it away by that.
Yeah, Chthon is heroin. And it
says that Grigory forfeited his life as the price of his presumption. And it said the curse, however, was not done with victim. Soon afterward, the Baron's own mother, Maria, was stoned by a fear-maddened mob. And we saw that in what? Giant-sized werewolf 5?
5?
Yeah, I think that is 5. And then we come back to Jack. Says, in America, upon her husband's death, the Baroness Laura married Philip Russell, and her children took his name. Then, upon Jack Russell's 18th birthday, finding refuge in exile among the gypsies?
Yeah, I did not get that.
What does that even mean?
It means nothing.
That doesn't mean anything. That's like a nonsense sentence.
Did Roy think that he went to the Circus of Fear to find gypsies to explain his curse?
Are they still talking about... Because Jack was... Well, no, but Jack was there when Maria died. And that was a very, gypsy-centric issue. So maybe? I don't know. The timeline's all fucked up here. Like, it was going so well.
Yeah. It was. Top of this page, after he summons Chthon and then he forfeits his life, We see Chthon blasting a Rusoff, and then that disembodied head. Isn't that the same head up when it's saying there's 3 mages?
Yeah.
And one of them impersonates Merlin. Is the middle guy that looks like he's wearing a Confederate, or not a Civil War cap?
Yeah, he's wearing a Union war cap. Yeah.
That's him also panicking as he watches Grigori being killed, right?
Yeah, I know.
So at some point, somebody jumped in and added this Chthon stuff.
Yes.
And slightly altered stuff, and we haven't read it, so we're kind of confused.
We're a little confused,
Okay.
but I don't know. I'll wear that confusion with pride. So in the bottom panel says, ringed about in the months and years that followed by foes such as Dracula, the Hangman, Taboo, Dr. Glitter Knight, and the mysterious Moon Knight. So we get kind of a greatest hits panel. We have a pretty decent depiction of the werewolf, green pants, pretty furry, maybe a little more ape-like than I'd like.
He's ripped.
Yeah, he is ripped, and we get all these great villains. I don't know who Dracula looks like. That is a weird depiction of Dracula. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And but we get
Jerry
we get
Lewis?
yeah, it is a little Jerry Lewis.
I don't know who that would be.
It's so nice to see Glitter Knight in his flying squirrel mode. That's the mode we love him best. And yeah, so that was cool. And it says young Jack fought to retain both his sanity and his very humanity.
I really dig this depiction of Jack, actually, of the werewolf.
Yeah, it's good.
I wish the Hangman had worn a full executioner's hood instead of that weird jacked up.
I know.
Like here, he looks formidable and scary. Other times, he looked like a sex pest.
Yeah, which he was.
Which he was. The next page, again, we're just kind of doing a greatest hits thing here. For a time, the cosmic entities known as the Three Who Are All granted him the ability to control his lycanthropic transformation and to retain his human intellect. And we all know that. That was awesome. I don't like the way they drew the goat person so much, but that's fine. Hissy Elliott and the other one are awesome.
They are looking awesome. So we haven't had a whole lot of drinks, but I'm going to drink to the Three Who Are All.
Me too.
Because, man.
I missed a drink that was in my notes earlier, by the way. When the Lord Leader of the Possessors jumps into the thing like a ceiling fan, that's a death of a villain.
Oh, that is a death of a villain. Okay, yeah, all right. I'm going to drink to that too.
On the next panel, we get a flashback to this season. Until the evil Dr. Malice deceived him into undergoing a treatment which caused him to revert to his earlier savage state. And I love the way that they drew Dr. Malice here. He looks like John Oliver with a really bad bowl cut. And he is thrilled that he has got this collar around Jack Russell. Like he's like, ee-hee-hee-hee.
Yeah, he does. He looks like an excited child. So weird.
And the bottom of the page here, we get and worse, and we see like the force evolved Jack into the final form of his wolf, fox, whatever, all of these different things we've seen in season 3.
Yeah,
we see him kind of jumping down. I actually like this depiction, even though I don't love the subject. And then we get to see him chomping on Silver Dagger's neck. And this is referring to his final mystic fusion. The two forms have finally become one. He's not fighting with his beast self anymore. He's both man and werewolf at once. And only his basic humanity kept the revenge he reaped from being even more terrible as he was fighting Silver Dagger. So he bit him and made him think he was infected, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
By the way, I read today that issue where Silver Dagger explains what happened, but that's kind of fun, just seeing him appear again.
Yeah.
It was weird stuff. A lot of Doctor Strange stuff.
Okay.
Do you want to know what it was? Because it's fucking weird.
Okay, yeah, lay it on me.
So apparently in his first appearance, he took the original Eye of Agamotto, and he had it. And so Doctor Strange had a second one crafted. And so Isaiah Kerwin put the first one in his eye that he had lost.
Oh.
And so he pulled his eye patch off. And when we saw him confronted by the sword, saying, impure, impure, because he'd been bit by Jack, he pulls his eye patch off, and the Eye of Agamotto blasts all of them and incinerates all of them.
Holy shit. Okay, so he did get out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you were wondering that cliffhanger, what happened, he incinerated the sword with his Eye of Agamotto, the version 1 of Eye of Agamotto.
Oh, I didn't. So
Strange's is a V2.
Strange's is like some kind of knockoff.
No, actually, they fight, and an issue, Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, issue 33, I believe.
Yeah.
And it turns out the second Eye of Agamotto is stronger.
Okay, then. Well, that's good.
So, yeah, this final panel here, we have Strange with his gloved hand resting on his chin, thinking. It says, since that night, he has felt a mission to help others whose lives have been touched by the supernatural. Even those whom his own bite may have turned in an earlier era into werewolves. Wherever you go, Jack Russell, under full moon or faint. May Agamotto's all-seeing eye watch over you. Finn.
All right, that one was better than last issues for sure. But it was kind of nice and kind of fitting because, it was a bit of a greatest hits for us to go through at the end here, that we've reached the end.
Yep, which is cool. It's kind of a compliment to that issue. What was that, 7 or 9, whatever we did?
9, yeah, that was good. No, that was really good.
Okay, we have one final letter for this series. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Dear Strange Ones, let me start off by saying that I am not the world's biggest Doctor Strange fan, but issue number 26 caught my eye. The cover was a great piece of work, as was the interior art. Actually, it was the werewolf that made me buy the issue. Though I am an enormous Spidey fan, Werewolf by Night was the first comic I ever collected. Being a supernatural freak, I couldn't resist buying the mag while visiting a comic shop several years ago. I do, however, have some questions. 1. Will the Werewolf by Night ever get his own mag again? It ended with issue number 43 in 1977. Heck, I was born in 75. If you guys need an artist or a writer, I could very well do both. 2. The werewolf's powers have increased greatly since Marvel Comics Presents 58-59. Could you please fill me in on how increased they are? Strength, speed, etc.? 3. Besides next issue, will the Werewolf by Night be making any upcoming appearances in other Marvel mags? I happily await the next issue of Doctor Strange for the conclusion of this storyline. Thanks for listening. Christopher Belesne, Fairfield, Connecticut. And the response is, glad to have you aboard even for a 2-issue ride, Chris, though we hope you'll stick around a lot longer. There are other things in life besides werewolves and Spider-Man, after all. You can be relatively certain that Jack Russell and his hairy alter ego will pop up in future Marvel comics, but we're not sure just which ones yet. It's there, we're afraid, that any and all questions about the Werewolf by Night will have to be answered.
Okay.
I just felt like the dude's like vibing on like the cover art. He's like, I love the character. I love the cover. So I picked it up, even though I wouldn't normally buy a Doctor Strange comic. And I'm like, this guy's our people.
Yeah, he is our people. Yeah, and though Jack's going to go on, he's going to be part of the Midnight Suns. He's going to not make a ton of appearances. I think Jamie was talking about the X Factor, the Peter David X Factor issue that he shows up. It's kind of a wolf pack thing with Rain, and I read that, and that was pretty good.
Who else is in the wolf pack?
I can't remember. I read it.
There's not many lycanthropes, are there?
No, I can't remember exactly how many were in there. I read it, I think last year for one of the other seasons when we used a still from that, or I think we used a panel from that for one of our Werewolf Wednesdays. So yeah, so he's going to do that. I mean, I don't think Werewolf by Night gets another title until what, that 2000s. Yeah. Oh no, you're right. Yeah. The 98.
There's a 6-issue.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a split thing with Man-Thing for 2 issues.
Yep.
Which is a shame. Like, who would not invest more than 2 issues into something?
It's fucking stupid.
But that became Werewolf by Night's own book for 4 to 6 issues after that. Mm-hmm. And then he was gone until 2000. I want to say 2007, with a 4-issue Dwayne Swierczynski book. I passionately hated. Has nothing to do with the character. Super violent, super stupid. It's like a Max thing. And I bought them as they came out, and I hated them each month, or every other month they came out. And I think I sold them the first time I sold something to my comic shop to buy some real shit. So I'm not going to include them in a bind. They're anathema. They're what do you call apostate? You know, they're like anti-texts in a religion. You know, they're heresy.
Yeah, they're apocrypha even.
Apocrypha. Thank you.
Yes,
the word. Yeah. So we have reached the end of our journey. We're going to when we become Bronze Age monsters, we're going to do something like I feel like there's a Brain Eaters follow up. I would do that on the bonus show.
I do that on the bonus show. We're going to. I know at least either for a bonus or for just a little mini one of our Bronze Age buffet, we're going to do Capwolf.
I want to do Capwolf.
Yeah, I want to do Capwolf as part of the main as part of the main show. Like I know it's only so many, but I think that would be cool. Yeah,
it doesn't deserve an issue by issue analysis, but I think it deserves a good hour and a half, 2 hours of talking about the entire story for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. Definitely.
It's goofy as fuck.
Yeah, it is goofy as fuck. I reread it. I don't know. I think I reread it like 7 months ago. And yeah, it was great. And we may have a special returning guest that has requested that we do Capwolf with them. So that'll be exciting.
Yep. Yeah, this is a good time to talk about, I think, our final thoughts on this issue and our thoughts about this season, which has been a specifically strange, interesting season.
It's been so strange looking back on it, and I'm really glad, like I said at the top of the show, I'm really glad we ended with these 2 issues rather than Marvel Comics Presents. 'Cause I feel like we would have been down. We would have been a little dour. We would have been a little down on everything. And no, I think ending with these 2 issues was good. Specifically, issue 27, I don't think was as strong as issue 26. I think it was a lot goofier. Mm-hmm. It was, I mean, very inferior in a lot of ways, but still really fun. And the talent is there, so it's not a terrible issue. It's not great, and but there are really great things about it, and we really had a good time with 26. And so I'm glad we got a conclusion to the story. I think it's good. Topaz, the way that Topaz and Jack left each other was infuriating. They're just like, bye, see you later. I know we have a lot of unsaid shit, but it's just gonna stay unsaid.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer.
It's reminding me of like a Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter, where it's like, y'all know what I do for a living. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
You know how to find me, Jack. No, I don't. I'm rich, not smart.
Oh yeah. I need to. I haven't completed Neon Joe. I need to go and watch the rest of it.
It does have an ending, and it's actually satisfying.
Cool.
The whole thing.
I'm gonna finish that. But yeah, I don't know. What'd you think about this issue?
I totally agree with you. There were some great art moments in it, and there's some cool layouts where they were definitely pushing the form and doing some cool stuff with it. But story wise, I thought it was definitely goofier. Once it was revealed that these are a Ditko Lee era villain coming back, I was kind of like, ugh, I hope 27's good. I felt a concern, and it felt like it was more a 1990 handling of a or 64 whatever concept.
Yeah,
like
no, that's exactly what it was.
So
not ideal.
The highlights for me were possessed Jack killing an innocent person, and a Jack coming to grips with that happening and choosing to not necessarily deal with the pain, but deal with the memory, and like just it felt like it was he was graduating. Like I've never seen him walk away from any fucking weird shit he's ever done and said, "Wow,
I learned something.
Really changed who I am." Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think that was grown-up Jack. I think Jack has definitely gotten more responsible, more thoughtful. I mean, but he's also just using this pain in his X-Files tool bag to help all those people that he needs to go and help. So, there's that.
Yeah. Can we pivot to the season 3 over?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about it more in depth in our finale, but yeah, I feel like we should just give some basic thoughts on this season.
Yeah. So, to me, those moments we were just talking about, joined with the Sienkiewicz Minch Moon Knight issues, those to me felt like his character achieving his final form, not necessarily his werewolf form, but like his emotional final state. Again, we mentioned this on the second episode about those issues, but like, where's the fucking lost years? Like,
I know.
The fact that this guy was saying, I was chased by almost 2 years by a satanic cult across continents.
All through Europe.
I've been on the run
yeah.
for 2 years. Like, he came back grown up. Something changed in him. You and I, just doing fan headcanon, said, like, I bet that's where he and Topaz split. Like, if she was in Europe, she alluded to being in Europe.
Yeah.
I bet they split. Maybe he broke up with her and did that fucking, like, you know, I hate you, get out of here, you're a loser, but trying to protect her, you know, the whole cliche trope. Who knows? But like, I feel like he came back from whatever that was, a different, he came back a man. More or less. I mean, how goofy was he? Well, he didn't do anything. I mean, he was on the night shift. So he was basically a sock puppet between Sienkiewicz and Minch's story and what we just saw here. Marvel Comics presents.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think what we learned this season is, though, the night shift is great. And I'm really glad we went through those issues because they're a lot of fun. But the night shift was like, I don't know, it was just the most inconsequential era of Jack Russell, where he was beyond underutilized. He was barely there in a lot of those issues. He was only just in a few panels and maybe had a line. So I feel like this.
Sorry.
Oh, I mean, yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, I guess that might be. Yeah, but these are after the Sienkiewicz Mensch issues, and so we want to see that mature, grown-up Jack who's been on the run, not quipping as he's busting into some lady's bedroom. You know, I didn't. Yeah. I thought that was a backslide for the character, for sure. Yeah. And but you know, I feel like I think obviously we loved the 2 Moon Knight issues that we talk about a lot. That's probably the best stuff. But I think both of us really enjoyed the Spider-Woman issues. Mm-hmm. Like, loved them because it was interesting. Jack was in them a lot, at least the couple that for about half of them, he was a main character. Mm-hmm. And I think we really liked getting to know Jessica Drew and kind of getting immersed in that universe. And there was a lot of cool characters. I think a lot of my favorite characters from this entire season are all from the Spider-Woman run. I mean, I think if I was to choose a favorite new character or a character that was introduced in Spider-Woman, I got to go for Gypsy Moth and Daddy Longlegs.
Okay, I was going to say.
I'm not going to forget Daddy Longlegs.
I love them both too. But yeah, I feel like the Spider-Woman appearances were just kind of like 2 sticks being rubbed together, just like smoke starting to come out. It's like, these characters could get together and be a fucking power couple. Yeah. She's got her own weird trauma. He's got money. Like, they could just kind of come together and, like, he's maturing. She's coming to grips with her power set and her weirdness. And, like, they can be a power couple.
Yeah, they really.
Luke Cage and, but I don't know.
Oh no, that was I think that was underutilized. That they really should have expounded more on that, because both of them know what it's like to be feared. Yep. So just on that alone, I think they would have worked as a couple or just as a team that would go on adventures and stuff. I would have liked to have seen that a lot more than we did. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, of course, yeah. I would like to see.
Like, it's going too far to say that I was shipping them, because they were very clearly supposed to be together. Like, it was implied. It's not me definitely fantasizing as a fan. Like, no. Like, there were sparks. I think she alluded to the fact that, like, wow, he's really handsome or something, and he's like, no, she's a pretty gal. Whatever. Yeah. Like, after they met, like, yep, we see it. Like, you guys have sparks.
Yeah, they did. They had chemistry. So I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity. Mm-hmm. I was trying to think back, like, at least just about what art, like at least werewolf depictions, I guess was I was going back and kind of thinking about. And the ones that definitely stood out for me, I mean, obviously it's kind of almost like, yeah, I mean, Sienkiewicz is going to be number one, even though his werewolf was so stylized. And I know that, people love like 99% of what Sienkiewicz does, but a lot of people didn't like his werefox.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a popular version of Jack, honestly.
It's hot button.
It is a hot button, and I liked it. I mean, I love it just because I love Sienkiewicz and I love those issues. But honestly, I mean, I had a hard time kind of choosing between that. As far as stylized werewolves goes, because I really like what Jeff Purvis and Marie Severin did in Incredible Hulk 362 as well. And that was very stylized and naked Jack and different, but I really liked that. But I think if I was to choose something that was, I think the thing that we got that was exciting was actually in Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme 9, when we got the Day brothers doing that. Yeah, they did the art and the backup. Yeah. And I think that depiction of like the werewolf fighting Dracula and stuff, that was the most Plug that we've gotten since Plug. Like, and so that was exciting. So if I was to choose a favorite depiction, it would probably be that issue. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, that's good. I would agree with that. I would say maybe that first Spider-Woman, the first episode we did, or like Spider-Woman 32 with the Enforcer. Those are pretty great depictions of him as well. But I really loved that backup story. That one panel of him fighting Dracula was just like, I mean, it's just mainlining Plug. Just like, oh God, I miss this.
It was, yeah. I felt really good.
Did I just piss my pants?
I know.
It's like that kind of warm rush.
Yeah, it is. It was really nice to see someone that obviously was a fan of the character and obviously was very influenced by Mike Plug.
Yeah, I have to say, if we want to go to the negatives, my biggest regrets or whatever, disappointments were stuff that I talked about all through season 1 that I loved. I love supporting cast. I love Lissa. I love Topaz. I love Buck. Like all these things that grounded him as a monster in the world and he had to answer to and work with as in the daylight hours were gone.
Yeah.
So he spent the majority of his time with the night shift, using Danza Macabre's power to keep his beast under control. But it's almost like he was drugged out and hazed out and just kind of like, I'm just stoned and drinking whiskey. I'm just kind of numbed out, right? I'm just like, I'm here. Apparently I'm just like with a bunch of villains. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just know I'm not killing anybody. I guess it's lost years.
It is his lost years, definitely.
So that's my biggest disappointment is like no Buck, hardly. No Lissa, hardly.
Yeah.
Like what she came up in that backup story we did that was like them caught in traffic. Was that it?
Yeah, she's in the Iron Man story. She's in Iron Man 209. I mean, I know. That's a rough one. Yeah. I think to realize that Buck and Lissa's, last appearance was Iron Man 209. That's a little
at a Ren Fair.
Yeah, at a Ren Fair. That's a little disappointing. No, there's been some lows this season for sure. I mean, our first season just going through all the original Werewolf by Night appearances. I mean, there are some dips in quality during that run, but it was all just classic Jack, and it's the Jack we love the most. Second season, we went for Man-Wolf, which was great. I think that was a really great decision to do that. And then, and this has just been kind of, playing catch up and picking up all of his final appearances before we delve too deep into the 90s. And I think there was some good stuff, but on the whole, I don't think the character was treated with much love and respect throughout the 80s and 90s.
Totally agree. It's weird because they were clearly deciding. I mean, they kept using him, so they wanted to. Like, they were trying to figure out what to do with him. And like I was saying, losing his supporting cast was the biggest disservice to him as a character because, again, he was never the he's not Raskolnikov or something. He's not the most complex character in pop culture history. So when you lose a supporting cast who helps define him, he is a cipher.
Yeah.
And so when you throw him as a cipher into the mix of a bunch of different creators who are like, I want him to look this way, I want him to act this way, I want him to be this way, every issue, every 6 to 9 months, when they deigned to put him in a book they were doing, he lost his way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my final thought. I mean, I don't know whose call that was to integrate the Beast and the Man and to create whatever he became after the Marvel Comics Presents story, but I don't know. I think there's no bad stories for me. There's no bad characters. Like, any talented writer can come into any situation and make something cool. I just feel like there was no editorial nudge to say, we like this character, treat him right. I
don't think the editorial had anything to do with his appearances. I think it was boosters. It was people like Mark Grunwald, who was just like, I fucking love Werewolf by Night. I want to put him back in.
No.
And then it was just people. I honestly, sadly think that a lot of times these appearances of his were instigated by people who really loved the character.
I totally agree.
But didn't really do a great job with them. So
what demand was there in the 80s for horror comics? Right? I mean, like,
zero.
There's none. So they were saying, like, well, we tried to make him into a superhero in 77. It went down in flames. So we don't want to lose the guy. So what do we do? And they just kept trying to put him into different stuff. And like, what if we get a bunch of letters saying we love this? Maybe that'll work. And they just, But I love that there was boosters. Grunwald, chief among them in the 80s.
For sure. And Grunwald's a great guy, an amazing creator that we love.
Yeah.
And he did okay with Jack. I mean, he tried.
Except for West Coast Avengers 40.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. That was rough. Talk about lows.
Yeah, we'll talk about lows on the finale, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, so I'm glad we did this season. I mean, of course I am. I wanted to catch us up to the 90s. I wanted us to do this. This was a great idea of yours to do this pickup season. I think it worked out. Yeah, there are definitely dips in quality, but I feel like we made up for it. We had fun talking about it. We had some good guests on, so that helped out a lot.
But don't you feel like, I mean, I know it's the law of primacy and stuff, but like, isn't the lowest low of season 1 better than not barring Sienkiewicz, most of the highs of season 3? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Like the Deprave issues or the Atlas issues, like those are the nadir creatively of the first volume.
Yep.
I was fondly thinking, I was going through an original art thing where you can buy and bid on art, and I found a page from
Atlas
of Perlin's, Deprave.
Oh, Deprave.
I was like, I would pay $600 for a page of Jekyll and Hyde versus Perlin's Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I kind of miss that. Remember Ghost Nurse and like all this stuff? I was like, that was fun.
That was fun. We had a really fun time with that, and those were terrible issues.
And I felt like we were amusing ourselves during some pretty shitty issues, but there was a standard that was like, we still care about the character, even if the story's not the best.
That was disappointing.
Yeah, it felt like it was just a tumultuous sea this season. So we never knew from one issue to the next, is this going to be West Coast Avengers 40 or is this going to be Moon Knight 29? We don't know.
No,
right?
I know. Which
was kind of fun, but in hindsight, it was a little emotionally abusive.
A little.
If you need to sue me for reparations or whatever, I get it.
No, I understand. No, we needed to do this, and we had a good time doing it. But it was interesting to see that Jack was kind of treated poorly for these decades. So that was a bit of a bummer.
And maybe unconsciously, I was like, I need to do this season with Jacob to prove that Bronze Age Monsters needs to happen.
Well, it worked.
Because I can't wait to talk about Son of Satan and Golem and the Living Mummy and all that stuff we're going to be talking about in the future. Maybe Brother Voodoo and
definitely Brother Voodoo.
That's my thing, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be great, and it's gonna feel so good to jump back to the 70s. Oh my God.
Just easing into a warm, hot bath.
Yeah, no, I've been, I got that issue of Son of Satan, to cut up for buttons, and I was
That's
reading
right.
that and just being like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited.
Cool. Well, I think we did season 3 proper. We'll talk a little more about it in the finale episode, but
Yeah,
it was nice to put a little bit of a bow on it, just for the
little bit.
episode by episode kind of thing. So for those of you folks who support us on Patreon at the level where you get the bonus show, we're going to be talking about Werewolves on Wheels, the 70s drive-in movie that we watched this week with some of our friends on Discord. I'm super excited to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I had a blast watching it. It was super fun. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about that too.
Yeah, and I can't believe Orson Welles made that.
Yeah. So this is the part of the show where we give shout outs to the great folks that support us on Patreon. People that support us at the $5 level are our pack members, and they're people like Brian from Across the Bifrost,
Tim Tucker,
Brian from Marvel by the Month,
Blake, last name withheld,
Caleb,
Ben M,
Michelle from Moonlit Comics,
Rob Haferman,
Russ from Tomes of Evil,
Brad Elmore,
Tony Iupi,
Jared Savedas,
Brink,
Bill from Long Island,
David D,
and MJ.
and then there are the barbarian deities known as the Star Gods that support us at the $10 a month level. And those are people like Michael Giacchino,
Josh Lank,
Jackson T. Overstreet,
Mark Nivens,
and Eric Hadley. Thank you so much.
Yes.
You make all this possible, and we love you.
Thank you. Okay, so folks, keep your eyes peeled on our socials for the ballot for the finale voting for the end of the season best ofs. We want to hear from you. Not only do we want to hear from you, though, we want to also have you entered into our contest to win our prizes. So we'll be doing that January 7th at 7 p.m. And that'll be on YouTube, the Bronze Age Monsters channel. We've already kind of jumped the gun there and rebranded as Bronze Age Monsters. But there will be links to that and on our socials like Instagram and Twitter and Patreon. And you can vote at all those places as well. All right, Jacob. It's weird to say this is the final werewolf comic we're going to be talking about here.
This absolutely is.
This
So
format.
yeah, this is a weird thing. This is something that we've both done and loved doing the last couple years. And yeah, it's going to be, I mean, of course, we're still going to be doing this every week, talking about Bronze Age monster comics. But yeah, we'll be retiring the character of Jack Russell, which is going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it is. He's been a good friend, as you have during the weird times of 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Yeah.
So it's going to be strange to say goodbye to him, but at least I don't have to say goodbye to you.
No, we'll still be together talking every week. So yeah, I
Yep.
wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep. It's cheaper than a therapist.
Yep.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Join us on January 7th on YouTube for the live finale of the series. Till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at ya.